Wait, what? So it's tick task manager.h. It's context tick group equals group. So we need to look at level tick CPP and see if there's any differences. So engine source runtime engine private level tick.cpp. Level tick is not different. Well, that should not be true. I believe I modified level tick. God, get out of the way, all you things. What the hell is level tick? So level tick. I need to compare this to the release. And there it would be. Wish this thing had a lot more. WinMerge is not the best merge tool in the world. There's like Beyond Compare, Araxis Merge. It's a lot better stuff than frickin' WinMerge. And there's a reason some of those programs cost an arm and a leg. I think Araxis Merge costs like $500. And it's like, why the hell would I buy a merge tool at $500? And then you spend, you pay somebody to spend 6 or 7 hours merging something, or a whole week to merge something. You're like, if that took one day off it, that's worth $500 to a company. Oh man, it even says Unreal Editor 4.16 right there. Pre-update. So it should look something like this, is what we're trying to do. Just like, alright. Gotta get this tick crap organized. What am I doing? No, these should be like, so the scope cycle is gonna be for this scope, the if doing actor tick scope. So I can just build this again. And you might wonder, why in the hell, if they have an enum of things, did they copy pasta the crap out of the update ticks? So like they can't just add another update tick without editing not only their enum, but then their core engine code and also their scope cycle tick at the top. Just doesn't make too much sense, does it? And we need to compile all the shaders. So let's get to shader compiling. Let's see if we can actually just run the game if anything happens. Hey, our tick's getting executed as it should be. Oh my god. I think this update worked just fine. You know, like, I don't see any problems with this at all. This looks exactly like what I would expect. You know, like, that's, you know, there's no, everything is fine. There are no problems. No problems whatsoever with what is happening at the moment. This is our life now. So it looks like our scene captures are totally screwed. And why are they not working? It looks like we're drawing everything in perspective, to be honest. Like, we're drawing everything in perspective and all that. So what's happening is our scene capture code did not work properly. Probably that's what's going on here. So we need to take a look at this is our regular versus this one. So what did we modify for our scene capture? It's going to be like audio component, scene component. No. Where is this? Runtime renderer? So what I think is happening is basically this show only primitives is not working right. So it has to do with this show only primitives. I seem to remember something here where engine private. And this is primitive scene proxy. There's level tick. This is scene visibility. So it's going to be something that we missed, I believe, somewhere inside of our diffs. So our foreground show only IDs is empty. Our background show only IDs is empty. Alright, so they're both activated. So the render capture planes look like they're in the right spots. And rotations. The background render capture and foreground render captures are located so that material looks correct. The background capture material looks totally wrong. It looks like it's drawing everything. So let's just disable them entirely. So it should disable both the foreground and background instances, and then we'll get the foreground working, then we'll get the background working, and stuff like that. So it looks like it's using the old materials. Let me dismiss all tutorial reminders. Thank you. So the background camera. And the foreground camera. Alright, so we're gonna turn on the foreground camera at least. And see if that's rendering properly. Well, maybe it is working properly. Maybe it's just sorted wrong or something. So let's open up the old editor and I'm just going to double check. Because I'm not sure why the things are rendering behind there. That doesn't make sense to me. Those explosions and stuff? Oh, that's stuff that Adam drew. He made those all in Harmony. No, the sword axis is totally the same here with this. And Adam's very good. Well, he's been known to make a few drawings. So this renderer, it looks like it's rendering properly, like it's got the grass in there. But it's rendering it behind the actual object. Right, we have the orthographic stuff working, obviously. I guess the question is it rendering at all with the foreground then? It's rendering 600 things for the foreground. Foreground does not equal null pointer. Foreground is not active. Background. Disable background. There's a bug there, isn't it? Have fun, Karakin. I'm just struggling through all the things. So hopefully you're not as terribly vexed as I am. We're getting there. We'll see. It just seems like that background plane is screwed up somehow. It's drawing wrong. So let's see. Is the foreground plane at least looking correct? Like, yeah, okay, the foreground plane's looking okay. Looks like it's drawing the background a little bit weird though. It's like it's drawing everything. It's not drawing only what it should. Yeah, it's definitely not drawing. It's definitely drawing too many objects. The near clip plane is working properly, but like you see, we're actually covering up fat sack with some of it. So like this thing should have a tag on it, which is called draw background only. This actor is the background landscape, and it's saying add foreground is false, so I can't believe there are 600 different things that our foreground is trying to show. So what we're going to want to do here actually is we're going to spam the logs real quick with exactly what's getting rendered every frame. Of course. Well, we'll see. We need to figure out exactly if we're adding all the right objects, and if we're adding all the right objects, why are we drawing them? why are we drawing more than we should? Why, scene capture component, are you ignoring that which we want you to Why are you not ignoring that which we want you to ignore? This thing has got to actually get us the info log here, which might take a little bit for it to actually do. It's having to allocate a shitload of memory for the rendering of the info log. Look at this, it's... What the fuck is it doing? Oh, did they change something with get components? Where get components is not clearing the array or something? So we'll get our components, and it's got this rendering component on it, and our actor is this debugger category replicator. I don't even know what the hell that is. And then our components has not been cleared. Rendering component, player controller has got 1. Now we have 3. We've got collision component, mesh component, and this is on the default pawn. Camera actor. Alright, yeah, so like the logic has been changed for get components is what it looks like. So we're like literally adding everything a bajillion times or something. Are we calling get components anywhere else in our code? Yeah, we totally are. Do we need to get these components again? We have an array of components on the actor. So no, we don't need to call get components here. And these get components for prim components is fine, but we need to do cap components dot empty here. God, that is a nasty change that they implemented there. That like, because it used to be that you pass in an array there and it would call empty on it before it did anything. And I understand why they would change the functionality, but because it's actually more correct. Like, just like, hey, get the components and add it to this array. Like, that makes total sense to me. Like, don't make the decision to clear the array for me. I might want to call add components and then iterate over a bunch of actors and get every single component off of all of them without like calling get component and then copying it into another array. So it makes sense. And that's why we were grabbing everything and throwing it in the wrong bucket, because it was rendering absolutely everything. Because one of those things was, you know, later on in the scene was saying, oh, okay, yeah, totally add this. And that would totally screw everything up. So we were rendering the entire scene for everything all the time, forever. So yeah, here's our correct foreground. And now let's go grab our background and make that work. What a scary bug. I'm glad I went and control F the rest of my code base to make sure I'm actually calling clear. And there aren't too many places in the rest of the code base that actually do that inside of Unreal, but I'd be concerned about going through the rest of them and make sure they didn't make the same mistake I just did. Or, well, it's not a mistake. It used to be correct. It's now wrong. It's not a mistake. That's a unfortunate happening. So our scene should look correct now, is the idea. And that's definitely looking like what I would have expected it to look like. So let's go and let's take out all of the info log that we had running here. And we'll build this again. You'll do it. It is only a matter of time before we fix things. It's always just a matter of time. We don't have to even understand what we're doing. We'll figure it out. No, actually, we won't figure it out. We'll still fix it. So I want to make sure this thing is still working. I think the B button's still rigged up to spawn a whole bunch of random crap, so we'll try that. So that's still looking proper. So why don't we boot open Adam's level real quick. His camera test 2. And we'll see if that's... So this is what it looks like in Adam's test level. And as you can see, it looks just like it should, amazingly. So that's a merge almost finished. Excellent. So I think we just need to double check a few things. Let's just make sure we can open up a few blueprints and other things and mess around with it. Like that's all looking proper. So we'll double check, and I want to look at the characters. Make sure this still works. The collision stuff I had disabled, so that shouldn't show up anyway. But it looks like everything's doing what it should. So why don't we try up one of the new things real quick. I'm just having trouble with a few things at the moment. I'm trying to sort something out. So I need to double check